Basically, one day at school, I just couldn't breathe properly. They sent me to the hospital, and after scanning the X-ray, we realized that it was like a pneumothorax. It's basically like you have like a small hole in your lung, and that like I had to live in the hospital for a few days. But then afterwards, they discovered a even more serious problem, and that's my spine was curved, and it can be seen based on the X-ray image. That's scoliosis. Basically, my spine is curved, and that kind of limited a lot of stuff that I can do. I realized that I have scoliosis at the age of 16, and that's really late already because at the end of puberty, I won't have a chance to fix because my bone won't grow. My bone won't grow, it won't be able to fix the shape. The biggest trauma I had after getting scoliosis is the fact that I fear that I will not be able to walk properly when I get old.
Just last year, you also interned at a Japanese hotel. What was the story of that happening?
Basically,
Guys, before we get into the podcast, 91.6% of you guys are not subscribed. So please do hit the subscribe button since it will help get even crazier guests and blow up the channel. So yeah, let's get back into the video.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Gen Z Fastlane here. Today we have Brian Chiu, who is one of my CMU close buddies. We're doing the program right now. So yeah, Brian, take it away.
Hi everyone, I'm Brian. So I come from the same school with Bosco, and I'm a rising senior. And I'm basically interested in AI and also blockchain as well, and using them for social good. I'm thinking of probably majoring somewhere in AI in healthcare or AI in education.
Nice. So yeah, just starting off, Brian, could you kind of describe like what sort of personality you are as, a person for you personally?
For me, that's an interesting question. But for me, I think I'm a easygoing person. I'm a kind of very chill guy that like don't really get angry, don't really and I play basketball as well. I'm not that sporty, but yeah, I just enjoy having fun with different people.
All right, yeah. So let's just start off by, talking about, I guess, like IBDP. So could you let us know like what subjects you're currently taking?
Right, sure, of course. So yeah, I'm taking 4 HL, so math, physics, computer science, and also Chinese BHL. And I'm also taking English language and literature A and also ESS SL. Yeah, so I guess I can give you a brief introduction of like different subjects and like how they work, I guess. And why I chose them, I suppose. I chose like math HL and math AHL is pretty explanatory. I have to choose it because whether I go to engineering or computer science, they both require math HL. As a subject, I think it's very unique because of the way it's being tested. And oftentimes that doesn't like the teacher teaches the concept, but then she'll give like some pretty hard questions on how to apply those concepts, especially interchangeably. So like applying different concepts to solve the same problem. That's one of the most favorite ways my teacher like to put questions in, which I think is good. And physics HL is I also have to choose it for engineering. And I'm personally very into physics as well. Yeah, it's just I think for physics, it's very important to learn it so that you get an understanding of how the world works, and explains a lot of scientific theory and principles that you see in daily life, which is quite good as well. And then for computer science HL, a lot of people may wonder why I don't take Chem HL, and the reason is just because I didn't really like chemistry, and I think I liked computer science more, and I probably will major in computer engineering or computer science, which they don't really require chem. But yeah, if I wasn't in the IB program, I would probably have taken math, physics, chemistry, and computer science. These 4 subjects. Yeah, and then for Chinese BHL, it's a very chill class. I really like the teacher, and I have to take a language B because it's uh easier to get marks. To be honest. And then English is I think English is one of the hardest subject to study or master. Because it requires a lot of prior experience. It's kind of like math as well. But English is more of a commentary on what devices, techniques that authors use. And I think that it gives you a like it allows you to now analyze like different stuff you see every day, which is kind of cool. Um, and then finally, ESS is like I took it because it was less writing heavy. I'm not good at writing. So yeah, and ESS is I think ESS will be helpful for my future as well if I do something related to like ESG and stuff like that. I think like many governments are trying to put more emphasis in there as well. But yeah, that's kind of the overview of my IB subjects.
Nice. So I think we previously also talked about, how much time you spend for each subject, but if you don't mind like sharing
Yeah.
it again, like
Oh
what's your
yeah,
time?
of course. I think different subjects to time allocation really is very different. In terms of raw like pure time, I think I spend most time in math and physics simply because I have a tutor. And then I also grind a lot of like past papers, online practice questions, and textbook questions for all my HLs, like the STEM HLs. And then, but I also spend a lot of time in English as well because, to be honest with you, I wasn't good at writing. I wasn't good at analysis, so I had to like write a lot of practice essays. And part of it was also because I kind of procrastinate with English. Like when I do questions with math, I don't find it hard, so that's why I can focus. But then when I start writing English, I just kind of go off task. So that's that as well. And at some point in my life, I kind of had two English tutors just to get my score back up. But like, yeah, I think for me, English was definitely the biggest hurdle in my whole IB career. But I do spend like quite a lot of time in the STEM subjects as well.
Nice. So in terms of like, the tutors that you have, like how much do you think they contributed to your overall academic success?
Okay, interesting. For me, I found a really good math and physics tutor. So I believe that he made a really good foundation that even like for physics, there was one test that I didn't really study, but I got in and I still got a 7 because of him. And I think that that actually contributed a lot to my score. Um, for English as well, I think that helping like forcing me to write essays and helping me change like like paragraph by paragraph and like giving me some comments are very good as well. And then I also recently got a computer science tutor for my IA, but I think that it's mainly the free subjects like math, physics, and English was the like I really needed that tutor, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Got you. Got you. So like if we rewind back to your whole academic journey, obviously you have one more year in IB before you go to
Right.
college. What would you say was the biggest challenge that you ever faced, and how did you solve that challenge throughout your whole like academic career? If you think of one more.
Starting from secondary school or
Yeah, just like I guess we can start
okay,
from
okay.
like so.
Sure. I
Biggest
think the most challenging academic was coming from DBS to CNIS. It like to give you some background, I think like from a local school in Hong Kong, all we do the academic type of learning is that they read out textbook knowledge and we just memorize them, which is very different from what Canadian encourage us to do. So when I first got here, I was very uncomfortable. Like in local school, there was never a thing called self introduction or like icebreaker we had to do. So then, yeah, so that was I was quite embarrassed when I talked like in front of everyone, especially in front of girls because I came from a boys' school. Uh, yeah. Well, that was way back in grade 8, and yeah, and I also found like doing different projects was like like a different style of learning. Doing researches and like writing up essays, which I didn't really like, but I think in hindsight that actually that actually was the right choice. Like my parents made. They put me in primary school and local school to get my foundation well, and then they put me in international school in like secondary school to like allow me to get more real world experience, be able to present, and actually get some soft skills that are very useful for when I come to work in a job. Um, yeah.
Nice, got you.
Oh, and I think yeah. Sorry, I missed the second part of the question, but like the way I overcame it is like um it's kind of lame, but like I first made some friends that also knew Cantonese, and that kind of became my like close friend group. But then I also realized that reaching out for help was quite easy and chill. Like in my local school, because teachers were so busy, other students are very busy. Like, not many people are willing to help you. But I actually found the opposite in international school. Like, when you go to extra help, teachers are chill, they talk to you, and they actually like are very welcome they welcome you to ask questions, and they are very open to any questions you ask. So I think that's part of the reason why I I like Canadian, and I also like the community, like the club, the community that allows you to build clubs, do what you want to do, and like not be in that really competitive field, in my opinion.
Got it, got it. So like, I guess a question that many people, and for me personally, I also have for you is like, you were pretty, academically successful for, like your whole academic career, right? I think you got multiple scholarships to multiple courses, which we could talk about later on.
Yeah.
So what was, your core strategy that you personally believe worked best for yourself in this particular case to, reach academic success? Were there any softwares that you particularly use or like anything?
I think, well, when I had more time to study for one particular subject, I would look at the notes I had for lesson, and then I actually write one condensed note out of it, and only like write down the useful information. I think that helped me memorize, and also like I can study like because I wrote it on paper. And then regarding academic success, I suppose in IB specifically that I do a lot of past papers, and like I found a lot of pretty good online resources. Like one of them is called Revision Dojo. And it's very cool, so check it out. And I think that tutors are also a good thing to utilize. The thing with tutor is that you should be the one to direct or drive like what's going on. For example, like what tests are gonna be coming up, what you should study, what you want to prioritize, what you should strategize. I feel like that's particularly true for English tutors, because for English it's like it takes a long time to prep for like a particular exam. So that I start preparing like months before like they actually announced that there was like the paper one or something like that. So I guess you can also ask teachers a lot of questions. For math you can ask like technical questions. For English I suppose it's more of a general comment or sense of how you can improve. And also like just check out for when exams are gonna be out. So like or when exams are gonna be. Ask some seniors what they do and stuff like that. I think mainly though it's like keeping that consistency. Like you do some practice every single week so that you accumulate that skill over time. And I like one way to do it is with tutor. But of course you can do it yourself as well.
Sounds very interesting. But if you were to say like, for example, someone who doesn't have much time because there's so much extracurricular activities going on. I think you personally, in grade 10, you did a whole lot of stuff where you did like, you were multiple founders for like Scoliosis AI, Design Your Life. And we could talk about that later on, or we could actually talk about that right now as well. But
Okay.
how was that, transition from grade 10 to grade 11 felt like for you? And like, did you cut down a whole lot of extracurriculars?
Well, for me, I was definitely less active in my extracurricular, and there was like a lot of other activities I had to prep as well for college application, like SAT research and stuff like that. But for me, I tried my best to maintain what I had in grade 10. Like this is fundamentally impossible, but like I tried to maintain that during like non-exam seasons, and then like when multiple exams are coming or like the important ones, for example, like the English ones, I would try and lock in and like actually do English. Like to be honest with you, I think IB is not to the point that it's so tough that you can't have any extracurricular. As long as you organize your time well, like you can get a lot of extracurricular in. It's just that probably during some period of time, maybe like a period of time when you have like 4 or 5 exams in one week, then you should probably lock in and like just study hard for that. I usually do that when there's like a lot of exams coming up, and I think that to be honest with you, I do have free time as well. So it's not like the IB course is like gonna kill you or anything, but like so like you definitely have time to do what you want to do and like your extracurriculars as well.
Yeah. So moving on to, extracurriculars, let's first talk about just last year, right? You were a summer student for the HKU program. So could
Yeah.
you describe briefly your experiences on that? What were your call takeaways? First time doing like a, I guess, pre-college program.
Right. So last year I went to HKU for two things. One is for the pre-college summer program, and the other one is for lab internship. So the pre-college summer program was just like a 3 hour thing every single day, and you like study a university credit bearing course, and that's like university physics. So that was very helpful because I actually learned a lot of IB physics content during that course, even though I didn't know anything at that time, and I had to rely on like a Chinese friend to tell me translate what the professor is talking about. But I think that for me, the pre-college experience was less apparent because I actually go back home. I live in so I live in Hong Kong, and the university is like in local. So, but in the lab internship, I think I got to experience a lot about college life because I interacted with a lot of PhD students and also worked in one of their labs. Um, like it's called microfluidics lab, led by Professor Anderson Shum, and basically that they did something about colloidal self assembly particles, something that was very deep in chemistry. So I that was part of the reason why I didn't want to take chemistry either as well. And I think the core takeaways are the attention to detail and the ability to self-direct yourself in college, because a lot of times, especially in masters and PhD, they don't tell you what to do in college. Like in IB or like in high school curriculum, they tell you to study this, study that, and stuff like that, and you study those, you ace it. But in college, it's very different. Like the professors don't tell you what to do, they don't tell you what research you want to be in, and it's a matter of like self discovery and exploring what the college offers and what you want to do. Um, that's I think the key takeaway from my summer
Yeah.
program. Yeah.
Yeah, so in terms of like, like pre-college programs overall, I think there's like a really mixed debate between like if you should take pre-college program or not, because on one hand, like you can easily get all of the information and find them online, right? Pre-college program. So like, would you rather spend like, a summer doing, finding your own information and, creating some kind of startup or, your own business, like spending that summer to do like an intern somewhere or like create your own thing, or like doing a pre-college program? So what was your overall like assessment with that? Like,
So for pre-college, I think obviously that many of the stuff you can find it online. I think the main decision factor that you should have for pre-college is whether or not you actually want to go to that uni, because I think that if you really want to go to that university, a pre-college summer program is actually very useful for you to get a sense or get a feel of what the community is like in college, and also helps expand your network with like pre-college students and stuff and like also like college currently undergrad students and stuff like that, and if not professors as well. I think that regarding like what you said, it's true that you can find the courses, like the course material or like some other online resources for the technical skills. So perhaps like you can do some more unique courses like the ones we're doing in CMU, like the AI for Humanity and also digital storytelling. I don't think they're offered like in many other places, like understanding how AI intersects with humanity and different fields, education, healthcare, and also arts. Um, yeah, and I think that of course, like I feel like with college, you also get a lot more help from professors and TAs rather than just trying to learn it all by yourself online. I think it's possible, but I feel like there are some unique things that you can do with a pre-college summer session that you cannot do just by learning the same content outside of that program.
got you. So it's more about like the networks and I guess like which university you're going
Yeah,
to
yeah,
for a
yeah.
pre-college program. So with your experience right now, in CMU pre-college program, what do you think?
CMU, to be honest, I find Pittsburgh as a great city. I've never felt very unsafe in Pittsburgh, which is good. And in New York, I have like quite a few disturbing scenes that I saw in New York. But regarding the program itself, I think it's pretty useful because it offers a unique insight that you won't get because of like the nature of our courses, we take AI for humanity and digital storytelling through AR and VR. So right now I think AR and VR is pretty popular with like Apple Vision Pro going on, and like I believe that, and I agree with what you have like said during discussions in our own time, that VR will probably be the future of the world. And yeah, so I think learning these soft skills and also kind of reasoning skills of how AI can be applied are very useful. And but at the same time, of course, CMU is more famous for their technical courses and stuff like that. I have a roommate who's taking like the hardest a freshman undergrad course, and he's like kind of grinding every single day. So I think there are different ways to like um to understand and experience the college life. Um, and it just depends on what you want to do. Um, yeah,
Yeah. So while we're talking about, AI, we've
yeah,
actually like I think we've been working on scoliosis AI,
yeah.
which have been amazing. It's been amazing, just joining the entire project. So could you tell the audience here on the story of how you found out that you have scoliosis? Because I think it's a pretty unique one. And what are some
Right.
of your future goals you have with this
Of
overall
course.
project?
Yeah, of course. So basically one day at school, I just couldn't breathe properly, and like I kind of collapsed, and like they sent me to the hospital. And after scanning the X-ray, we realized that it was like a pneumothorax. So like, hey, home. I don't know how to say it in other language, but like, it's basically like you have like a small hole in your lung, and that like I had to live in the hospital for a few days. But then afterwards, they discovered a even more serious problem, and that's my spine was curved, and it can be seen based on the X-ray image. And so that's scoliosis. Basically, my spine is curved, and that kind of limited a lot of stuff that I can do. For example, I can't pursue varsity basketball. I can't like when I grow old, I will have a lot of back pain and neck issues. Um, but basically, because of this experience, I understood that um, scoliosis was a hard thing to detect, and usually they do it with like school scoliosis screening with like those uh compulsory medical checkup you have to go to, organized by governments and stuff like that. But I missed all of them because of COVID, so that I realized that I have scoliosis at the age of 16, and that's really late already because it's like at the end of puberty. So meaning that I won't have a chance to fix because my bone won't grow. So if my bone won't grow, it won't like it won't be able to fix the shape. Um, and so which is why I started a project called Scoliosis AI. And it's about how I want to use an AI model to detect scoliosis based on bareback images. The ultimate vision is to have like a website or a mobile app that can scan your back and detect scoliosis, like give a premature um early diagnosis. It like currently the AI model is not that accurate, but like I think the ultimate vision is to have like probably over like 85% accuracy and like almost like 5 to 0% of false negatives. Yeah, false negatives is just like patients who have scoliosis, but the AI doesn't detect it. That's the worst case that can happen. Um, yeah, and so basically, I think that's the ultimate vision, and I believe that it will be of great help to people in underprivileged countries, like developing countries, and people who are underprivileged who can't really afford the scoliosis screening. You may also ask why they don't use X-ray, and I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It's like because X-ray is very invasive, and like you're probably gonna have cancer if you take X-ray every single year. So, yeah, and for like having clinicians and school scoliosis screening is like very like not scalable as well. So I think that I want to automate that process with AI. Yeah,
Got you. Yeah,
yeah.
sounds like a very
So
fascinating.
yeah, we're working on it with CMU with like the professors, and also a whole bunch of teams. So I met a lot of crack people here. So I think this was a worth it experience to have.
Yeah. So I just want to ask more, about the overall experience on like, knowing that you have scoliosis, right? Was there any specific, mental trauma or mental, like new behaviors that you had to adapt to, like after knowing that you have scoliosis? Like, have
Right.
you noticed any changes? Like, you're more aware of something or like you're more careful?
Hmm. Um, I'll answer the like yeah. I'll split it into two parts. The first one, mental trauma, is like I think the biggest trauma I had after getting scoliosis is the fact that fear that I will not be able to walk and I would not like walk properly when I get old. I have like a grandma who can't walk properly, and it sucks because like every time we walk in like shopping malls, she can't walk like long distance, and we can't even go to vacation to with her. So I'm afraid that will become me in the future, and um yeah, because I don't know what scoliosis is going to do to me in the future, so it's kind of a bit scary. And then for new behaviors, I think that I did more stretches on my back after knowing I have scoliosis because stretches actually help a bit, but I also have to wear a brace. I didn't bring it to CMU because I didn't have enough space, but like I had to wear a brace like every single night. And I'm also more aware about my humped back because I'm more aware about like how my back is rotated. So yeah, just more awareness on my back and posture when I work, I suppose.
Gotcha. It doesn't sound too good if you have scoliosis. I'm pretty sure like with any disease. So like
Yeah.
for anyone who's listening, like how many percent do you think of people in the world like has this scoliosis disease, and like how can they check if like the audience member are like worried that they have scoliosis?
This is kind of depressing, but like according to statistics, like they say 5% of the people worldwide has it. And like many of them are adolescents. It's actually like scoliosis is actually the fifth most common like disease among adolescents. And I think regarding if you really want to have a check just to like make sure, you can ask a family, like you bend forward, and then like your hands touching your toes, something like that, and then you ask one of your family member to put a finger from your butt crack to like all the way to the top of your like neck, and ask if they feel that it's straight, or you can put a ruler on it as well. A ruler on the spine, and also a ruler sideways to see if there's like imbalance. If there's like if some imbalance, if you might have scoliosis, and you can just go to the clinic and ask like for an X-ray or like even just like a clinician to look at it. Like I feel like many people have mild scoliosis, which is like not that bad. But once it gets like over like 10 degrees, it will kind of have a lasting effect. So yeah, hopefully you guys all don't have scoliosis.
And I just did a quick calculation. If it's 5% globally, that's like 400 million people who have scoliosis. So the
Yeah.
chances of you getting scoliosis is a 5% chance, which is
I think it's higher than that as well because a lot of people don't notice they have scoliosis. Like if I didn't get into that lung accident, I wouldn't know I have scoliosis as well. So
would you say the core symptom is like, as you said, like standing on one foot, like sleeping?
yeah, like sleeping on one side is might be, but I'm not sure because a lot of people sleep on one side. I think like if you stand on one feet and like your hip is like sideways to like I don't know how to show it, but like your hips is like imbalanced to one side, and like you have one foot that's like one foot that's leaning out. I think that's a sign of scoliosis. I think that's what happened to me as well when we look back at the photos, but we didn't really realize that when we were younger. So
Got you. I'm actually pretty surprised about this because like before, I think if I didn't go to this program, I wouldn't have known that you had something called scoliosis AI, and I wouldn't have known about scoliosis. So I think it's pretty important if we spread this awareness because 5% of the global population is a lot, and I don't see people talking around it like everywhere.
Yeah. That's a
It's
problem.
like a virus, the coronavirus, right? Like
Yeah.
we keep spreading with like bad positions, and us being more in the digital world, having like horrible posture.
Yeah, and I didn't know I didn't know what scoliosis is either until I get diagnosed. So I feel like this is a very common problem that everyone is facing. So yeah, just trying my best to raise awareness and stuff like that.
Gotcha. Very excited with the future progress of scoliosis. So moving on to, I guess, and I know I'm asking you to tell so many stories, but just last year you also interned at a Japanese hotel, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
what was the story of
Uh,
of that happening?
Basically it was like a small Japanese hotel, like small traditional Japanese hotel near Fuji Mountain, and then it was like we my family and I stayed there for a few days, and I like because there's often like some arguments between like people in mainland and Hong Kong with like the waiters and like the staff in the hotel because it's like we just don't understand each other because like they speak Japanese and not that well spoken English, and people in Hong Kong don't really speak that well English either. So I resolved like a few times with like customers, like pointed them, like based on my tourist experience, pointed them to like some attractions, stuff like that, and the manager kind of saw like some potential for me to help out, and he basically offered as a joke, and my dad took it. And so yeah, so basically my family left me in the hotel to work, and they continued their vacation, and I just stayed there to work. I think it was a very unique experience that I had to thank my dad for accepting the offer, and I think that like for me, the main takeaway I learned in the Japanese internship was it's called a concept of omotenashi. It's like a term where Japanese coined their hospitality service for being like the highest quality of service. And it's very strange because they don't ask for tips as well, which is very funny. Um, and basically there was an incident about an old lady complaining to the front desk every single day, um, and then we like about flies in the room. So like the flies are not typical insects you imagine. It's like small black, kind of like black dots, and they're like all over everywhere. Like it can be like 100 or like 200 of them on their blanket. So it's kind of horrifying, to be honest with you. But we all just think that it was the old lady that left the door, like left the window open, because when we went in, it was like the insect filter was not on. There was food on the floor and stuff like that. So then it really made us misunderstand the old lady. But then our manager like insisted to do like different inspections and stuff like that every single day, each time the old lady complained. And eventually we actually found out that the flies are coming through the a hole in the pipe duct, and then one of our staff like used tape to close the opening. So I think this main key takeaway was like to listen to people carefully, actually like understanding where they're coming from, and like don't then give the benefit of the doubt until you actually know that it's for sure that this person is guilty or anything. And then there's also a funny story regarding the tape is like when I taped it, I used like colored tape to tape, and then the manager thought that it wasn't pretty because it didn't match the color of the walls. So that he took off his like white mask to match the white color of the wall. I found it very interesting because he actually went out of his way to remove the tape and then tape it back again. Like for many of us, we may find it useless or like waste of energy, but I feel like it's just their obsession with their high quality service. That's what make them reputable of their like politeness and also tradition. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's really good to like emphasis on the small details. I think many people they look at the larger picture as well, and
Yeah, and I think that's like something to emphasize in my future as well if I like ever do startup or work in a company and stuff like that. I think right now I'm also trying to do that with Scoliosis AI and also some of my organizations to pay attention to more details and trying to really listen to what others feel. Like the people we're trying to serve, listen to their voice and listen to their needs.
got you. So like at the end, like, did you find out why your dad actually decided to send you there? Did you ask like, Dad, like, why did you send me this intern? Like, what did he say?
Um, he told me as a joke that I should be working. Um, like he told me as a joke that I'm very privileged, so that I should be working basically my ass off for the service that I take it for granted every single time I went to our country. In fact, like I actually went to a lot of countries with my dad as well, like with my family, because my dad loves touring. So I think that he wanted to give me a lesson of because my dad didn't come from a privileged family, so he wanted to give me a lesson of how I guess how difficult it was to get to where we were, and keeping that in mind to make sure that I keep working harder to get like to achieve a better standard of life, I guess. I think that's why I didn't really ask him actually, but I felt like he had his own reasons for doing so.
Got you. Very interesting. I don't know if like I think in general, I don't think many like families would probably do that. Like just throw you to one side, like, just tell you to
Actually,
work.
I think I think maybe it depends on the child, but like I think actually talking to many family friends about this experience was like they actually wanted their sons and daughters to work as well. And I guess that this is maybe a more common thing in Hong Kong that they, like because our son kind of live in like the ivory tower. We don't really we aren't really exposed to many hardships and like tedious tasks that we have to overcome just to try to get a better life. Not in academic or anything, but like just in life in general. So I feel like um that a lot of parents will agree to do that. I think probably the daughter's will or like the child's will would be a different thing. Like a lot of child may not be willing to, but I'm just like those type of people that say, okay, yeah, sure, why not, something like that. So yeah, I guess at the end it was a very great experience for me.
Nice, nice. Yeah. So I guess it taught you to go through the hardships. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe I would have wanted
you
something
should
like that.
try. Yeah, you should
Yeah.
try. You should try. Yeah, I think the main offer for me is that I can translate from Japanese to like Hong Kong, like Canto, and also Chinese, so that they actually had a reason to kind of hire, like not really hire me, but like take me in and stuff like that.
Nice. So talking about like life experiences, you also run Design Your Life, right? Which is a
Right.
nonprofit
Yeah.
organization to help, I guess, basically like economically disadvantaged individuals to,
Right.
design their life. So
Yeah.
what was, your core purpose on like how you got started with this overall foundation? Like what was the, flicking point for you to start
Okay.
this?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. We don't only help economically disadvantaged kids, but we also like help a lot of different other kids from privileged countries as well. I think that what driven me to start was because of my own experience again. It's like when I was in grade 9 or grade 10, I really struggled to like understand or comprehend what's gonna happen in my future because at that time it was kind of like I had to choose. I kind of had to settle for like the course selection and stuff like that. So that I actually have to like sit down and try and understand what I want to do, which was a very hard thing for me. And my dad recommended me a book he read. It's called Designing Your Life by Stanford professors, like their framework. It's a very like inspiring book where they offer a lot of tips and stuff like that for like adults to actually rethink their life and also probably like embark on a new career journey. Um, it involves like understanding what career you're going into, talking to other people, and also actually trying out yourself. But as a high schooler, I found it less practical for me. So that even though I had a lot of takeaways from the book, that I actually found that this might not be applicable to many other teenagers. I feel that the problem is very common, especially in like people in privileged countries, if not also underprivileged. I don't really know, speak because I only come from Hong Kong. But like in Hong Kong, there are definitely a lot of people who don't really know what they want to do. And I feel like that creating a framework, like tweaking the framework based on the designing your life book would be helpful. And so that's kind of how I did it. I asked my friends to join at first, and like they found it pretty helpful. I think, but then it went viral in Egypt. So I think in hindsight that like I think that I agree with you, Bosco, that it's more for economically disadvantaged children because that they actually cherish a lot of opportunities to learn more and also like discover themselves using like online resources and stuff like that. Yeah, but it basically went viral in Egypt and we're moving on to Vietnam as well. So we have like two local chapters with like some local leaders who joined our workshop and found it really helpful that they want to help out. Um, and yeah, but the whole workshop is like basically an interactive session where we just discuss what we want to do. We follow like a proper framework. First step is like self discovery. Like you do some personality tests, talk about what you like, what's your passion, what's your interest. And then the second step will be ideating. Like we're gonna hypothesize three different options for yourself. We call them the three lives, but it's basically like life one, it's your dream career. Life two is your backup plan, and life three is like your career you want to pursue. If you don't have any like money or image constraint, so it's a very pretty holistic framework to help teenagers navigate different options, especially nowadays because of AI. I think we're gonna have a career disruption anyways in our life. Like we're gonna change our career path in our lifetime, I think. So yeah, and we basically try to help them understand what their free lives mean and how their free lives actually connect with each other. For example, like um your life one would probably be related to life three, and if not, like sometimes you can make life one be related to life three. I remember a case where the it's my friend actually, but like he wanted to do software developer, and for life one, and life three is like he wanted to be a like gamer, professional gamer. So I was like, why don't you do like a video game designer or something? And he was quite into it, and him and I actually built like a metaverse thing in the sandbox, and we just played around with it. Yeah, so I think that's like yeah, and then I think that's like just an opportunity for participants to like explore, and stuff like that. We also tell them to try to prototype their life, as in like you might not know how being a software developer or like full stack web developer looks like, but you can try and code for like 10 hours and see how you feel. So if you feel good about it, then congratulations. I think you found the right career, but like if you didn't like it, then probably it's not the right job. Um, yeah, so that's kind of how we teach the methodology, but we encourage teenagers to do it like once in a while as well, like once in every 6 months, because you eventually like you change, and it's only you that can tell the difference. Like there's no one person that can tell you what you want to do in life, and it's ultimately just for you to decide. So I think that we're just here to offer a self-discovery opportunity for people. And we found that many of the underprivileged kids actually found it very helpful as well. Yeah, yeah. Actually, we're actually developing a algorithm for generating more insights based on your free lives and also your personality type. So we use the Holland Code personality type, but basically what we're trying to do is like we're trying to analyze three things. First thing is based on your free lives and personality type. What's the common skill set among the three careers? So basically, we're trying to encourage teenagers that if you don't know which one you like, you can always work on these common skill set first, because they're transferable to different careers. So it doesn't really matter which one you get in at the end. And then the second one is a career personality fit score. It's more of an indicator to show how much their personality correlates to their career. It's just a thing for their reference. It doesn't really um, like have that much meaning behind it. And then the third one is additional career suggestions based on their free lives. So yeah, so we encourage this as a like it's kind of like a diverging and then converging process where you ideate a lot of ideas and then you cut them down. You try to eliminate all until you get one the best idea, I suppose. So yeah, that's kind of what we do in Design Your Life at 25. Yeah, sorry, I kind of went for a long talk
No,
for
all
quite
good.
a while.
Really detailed, really good. All right, so this actually sounds very inspiring, right? And I think for someone who is currently, watching this and, they probably have their own startup ideas in mind and they're probably a dream for them to start their own business or anything. But I guess the main challenge that they will face is number one, just, getting started, I guess. And then number two is, doing everything that you need to do in kind of like running a business, right? Like building teams and, doing
Right.
allocation, doing outreach. So in terms of like outreach wise and, getting your first few clients, I would say so, like
Right.
clients,
Yeah,
what
sure.
was your overall strategy with that? Like, well, what form of outreach did you use or mainly
Yeah,
referral?
sure. Um, at that time, I was not that mature, and I didn't really know how a business runs. And my thing is kind of nonprofit as well, so it's a bit different. Because we didn't need to generate revenue. At first for Design Your Life at 25, we found like friends to use, and I think for scoliosis AI though, I think we could probably get some like a more niche market, probably somewhere that they don't really have school scoliosis screening, and um perhaps like less less good like healthcare facilities, um or like the healthcare is kind of unaffordable for like a lot of people. Those are the demographics we're probably gonna be targeting, and we're probably going to be targeting either teenagers or adults or like parents, because I think parents are also a big audience in scoliosis AI, even though like it's the teenagers that's getting it, but like the parents are the ones that cares the most about
Yeah.
teenager. And yeah, so I think that's that as well. But regarding how I started with Design Your Life at 25, I really didn't like there wasn't an official process for me to start. I just started, recruited some team members, asked like my friends to join and stuff like that. I think for how you wanna get your team, it's a very hard thing. I understand that to get your own team, but I think that there are a few strategies you can use. The first one is like if you want to find people in school, you should find someone that's like that you know are excelling in academics, but also you know that are pretty like social and actually do some stuff outside of school as well. You don't want the people who are actually just like studying. And like you also have to look out for like people who have drive, who have like actual motivation to do something that they're passionate about. Because like people without drive would just not like do anything or like listen to you. So yeah. And then if you wanna find people outside of school though, I think there's a lot of different opportunities outside. For example, like if you join some like pitching competitions or like some programs that are like for like starting social entrepreneur projects, stuff like that, you'll meet a lot of great people that I think I that I had a similar experience with, that have a similar experience with you. Um, so yeah, I think that's kind of my tip. Um, yeah, I think you actually asked one more question, but I forgot what it is. So, do you mind repeating that again?
Oh, what was my question? Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Let's
okay,
just.
okay, sure.
So you've been running this Design Your Life program for I think about like 2 years now. So what would you say was like one of your, I guess, something that you want to tell your younger self if you could
Oh,
about this
really?
whole business? Yeah.
I would tell my younger self to start earlier and be more passionate about it at first. Because like at first, like look, I fooled around in grade 8. I played games like almost every single like right after I finished all the homework, and I wasn't any productive and like doing or learning some new things. So I kind of regretted that time in grade 8, but yeah, other like I mean you can't do anything. So um and for me, I also wanted to say that I should have been more passionate about it before, because I realized that when I grew older in high school that there's too many things going on, and there's like the academic pressure is kind of huge. So then I couldn't really put that much time into Design Your Life at 25. But in hindsight, that I could have put more time in earlier years. I think that I should have also started like in a probably in a different way, like not just asking my friends, but also like actually promoting it on like Instagram or like social media, like doing some marketing campaigns or something like that, because that would have probably helped me better. At first it was only my friends, so it was kind of just an obligation for them to come, but they didn't really want to come. Those type of times, so it didn't really encourage me to like put that like to continue like being so passionate about it. But then after the people from Egypt came, it actually helped me a lot. And hearing them say that the workshop was helpful actually made my day and actually motivated me forward to continue to do. So yeah, I think that I probably have started a bit differently if I were to tell my younger self that.
Nice, nice. Yeah, but I don't think like many people, if they're in grade 8, they're gonna be like the same, right? Like you probably don't
I
have things
guess.
figured out. But
I
if
mean,
obviously if you can mature yourself when
yeah,
you're grade, that's gonna give you an advantage because you get an extra year, an extra year, you could do a lot of things.
yeah.
So moving on to like your overall purpose, like purpose and like future, what do you see yourself going into? I think I talked to you about this before,
Oh
but
yeah.
everything in general.
I think that um, it's very broad right now. I don't really like. I think I definitely know I want to get into the field of computer science or computer engineering. I think that like for me, what I'm thinking right now, as cruel as it may seem, like I don't really care what I really like the most, because what I truly like the most may not be the best thing to do. So I'm thinking of looking forward to what careers will be very future emerging and future proof that I can be working. And I think I identify a few of them, mainly quantum computing, AR and VR, blockchain, and also AI. And these four things are like stuff that I like, but it's not the stuff that I most enjoy about. So I guess that you also have to strike that balance as well. Um, but like I think I can briefly talk about each one of them. I think quantum computing, although like right now not many people talk about it, I think it has a great potential to revolutionize the world, especially with ChatGPT going on. That like every single year they use so many money just to get like the GPUs in off to run it to train the LLM. So that I feel like if you can use like quantum computing for LLM, that might be a very interesting combo, and like that might revolutionize the entire world. And then for AR VR, I feel like with the Apple Vision Pro, it's gonna lead to an emergence of like different technology or like tools that offer immersive environment for like education, for healthcare, for many different fields. Um, yeah, so I think that also closely relates to what I'm planning to do in AI as well, because I'm planning to do AI in healthcare and education. So I guess kind of like AI, VR, and AR can be like very similar stuff. And then last one is blockchain. I actually got introduced to blockchain because of kind of like cryptocurrency and NFT. I love playing chess when I was young. So I actually my dad actually recommended me a Web3 chess platform, and like I can earn money while I'm playing chess. So that's a big incentive because like I'm playing chess anyway. So why not earn money as well? But that's how I got into blockchain and crypto. And I learned like blockchain in one like online university summer program, and I also joined like some competitions, but like the International Blockchain Olympiad, and won like second place. But like essentially I think blockchain is although it has like a lot of limitations. For example like not being efficient enough, and like the speed is quite slow. I think that it has a lot of potential to change a lot of different industries. For example, like financial servicing, and also like supply chain management. So in the competition, I actually like pitched one about like using blockchain for waste trading. So it's kind of like when you have like raw waste coming out from one factory, it can trade. Like the raw waste might not be waste for some other factories, so we're trying to facilitate that waste trading circular economy thing. And the example I always use is coffee grounds. So if you have like coffee grounds, you can turn it into mushrooms, like and stuff like that. So like the coffee shop, once they dispose the coffee ground, they can provide it to the mushroom farms or something like that. And everything can be done with blockchain. So it's more efficient and more transparent system that can be used for like, because blockchain is best. So there are a few key features of blockchain. First one is immutability, meaning that you can't change something that's on the blockchain thing. Like blockchain is just like a distributed ledger, so it records every single transaction and stuff like that, but then you can't change it, which makes it very like secure. And then the second one is decentralized, so that the ledger is not owned by any centralized company. So it's very good for like any operations that require a lot of stakeholders, because then that trust is hard to maintain, which is why like the idea I pitched kind of worked. Yeah, and I feel like blockchain will have a lot of potential with its decentralized nature. And in fact, I think my dad is already using one blockchain, like actual blockchain tool from a company. It's called Hive Mapper, but basically they're trying to get all the people to like put cameras on the car and like record the road. So essentially, they're building a custom GPS, and like they're trying to examine how to like give a real world like road scene by using everyone in like in different places. So this will be much faster than like the Google team trying to remap the roads essentially. Yeah, and they earn tokens while doing so and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's a pretty cool initiative, and like I think blockchain will definitely be one of the key future as well. Yeah.
Gotcha. So I think for me personally, I'm also very into like this whole AI future.
Mhm.
Many people are also very into it. So in terms of judging the category by quantum computing, AR, VR,
Right.
with AI, and blockchain,
Yeah.
which one excites you the most and you think will have, the biggest potential? Obviously, it's going to be hard to judge, but which one do you have like a
Mm-hmm.
better gut feeling for, and which one, if you have to choose one, you will specialize in for the future?
Right. Okay. For quantum computing, I can't really say because I don't know much about it. Like I haven't learned that much technical skills enough to say that um like say anything about it. But I know that if it manages to work to like make LLM very efficient or like work in a lot of other daily applications, it would definitely become the next AI, quote unquote AI. And I think for AI, AR and VR have the biggest potential in the next like 10 years, I think, to become the mainstream like technology. I mean, AI is already the mainstream technology, but AR and VR will probably be in the next 10 years. Um, yeah, and blockchain would probably be later on. I think the probably AI, AR, and VR excites me the most um because of the current situation, but it might change after I go to uni. So I'm not sure.
Gotcha. So if you were to start again, I guess like from scratch with AR and VR, what language or like what courses would you suggest taking?
AR and VR.
Yeah, or like any
Um.
research.
Oh yeah, sure. I think AR and VR. I know Unity is a great 3D modeling tool. Fusion 360 is also great. I think like for AR and VR, it's quite hard to build actual like land and stuff like that. I know Sandbox actually offers like you to buy a land and you can do whatever you want with it. And it's like a metaverse thing. So um, but I think AR and VR probably is hard. It's probably hard being the developer, but I suppose that I would have learned Unity more um, if I like had a choice to do it again. Yeah.
Gotcha. So just I think to wrap up the entire conversation, what would you say is your purpose? Your life
My
purpose?
purpose
Yeah.
in life or what?
Yeah, in life.
Mm, I think this is the same for everyone else, but my ultimate purpose in life is to just have fun and be financially stable. I think I want my children to be able to have opportunities that I had given by my family, and I want my children to be like happy and living a good quality of life. And regarding my future career, I feel like I'm open to any changes and stuff like that. Um, and I think that it's too early to decide, but if I can choose, I would want to stay in Hong Kong. Um, because I feel like I don't know if I can talk about this, but like I think in US the tension between China and America will get worse. So if I'm a Hong Konger staying in US, it might be a bit like um just like I would get like a lot of discrimination and stuff like that. So I think I would want to get back to Hong Kong to work for the future, um and like yeah have like a family and stuff like that. Yeah.
Gotcha. So final question, actual last one before we end the pod. What is the one biggest advice that you would give someone listening?
For okay, um I think the biggest advice I would give is to just follow what you want to do, no matter what people say. I'm sure your family will be supportive, but I'm sure that there are a lot of other people that would say that it's impossible to do or like it's not that feasible. But I feel like that, like, for me, I never thought that I would do such amazing things throughout my high school when I was like in grade 8 or anything. And it's true that it's never too young to change the world because right now, many more adults are willing to help teenagers, like, and opportunities and stuff like that. So I feel like you should just go with what you want to do, um, and just ignore what other people say. I think that that's very important, and you should also make sure that you're not going on that journey in like alone, because going on that journey alone might bring you like very easy and fast like progress in the first few years, but that's not gonna be sustainable in the long run. So I feel like finding like-minded peers who can work with you, who can be like startup partners or like life mentors, are also very important. Um, yeah.
Gotcha. Amazing. I guess this is how we can end this podcast here. If you guys want to
Sure.
reach out to Brian, I'll put his contact links in the description. We will also be creating a Notion value page to list all the resources that we've mentioned in the pod. And yeah, catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.